Hey, welcome back to another episode of 1980s. Now, a weekly examination of 1980s pop culture and its influence today. Hey, everybody. My name is Will, and joining me, and all of us, as always, are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John. Hey, guys.
Hi, guys. Whom I missed.
Hey. Whom you missed? Aw.
Yes.
Kat didn't have anything better to do, so she's joining us today. Hey, and before I forget to tell you, don't forget to check out our friend John's other job, his moonlighting job, over at the Gen X Grown Up YouTube channel, podcast, and the like. It's also
thank you.
Floor wax.
It's an all-in-one solution for your needs.
Going on with my monitor here, suddenly going dim, all by itself.
Hi, friends who are happy that I'm back.
Yeah. Hey, everybody there watching us live right now, Facebook, YouTube, and all those places. That's all that, right? There's something I was going to tell you guys. Oh, I know.
Is there a third place that I don't know about?
There is. What do you mean? What are you talking
Facebook,
about?
YouTube, all those places.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't those the places?
Hang on, I'm going to
Are we
write
on
something down
Instagram?
real quick here before I forget.
Maybe Instagram.
Okay, not live though.
No.
You guys keep the show going.
Okay.
Well, you don't keep the show going by going, You start right into a topic.
John, will
So,
you
Kat,
please?
what
Yes?
is it? What is it?
All right, I'm
that,
back.
Well,
Thanks, John. Thanks, guys. That was great. Okay, here we go. Hey, hey, on today's show, look, instead of giving the actual topics today, the news stories, I'm just going to give you a word or two that'll give you an idea of the topic that we're going to talk about. Okay,
Ready.
we're going to talk about Clue, Rocky,
Yep.
Doctor Who, Jell-O, and the Naked Gun. It'd be really cool if there was some kind of unifying theme there, other than
That's what I was
things
looking
from
for.
our childhood.
There were a
Right.
couple.
It's like you're playing Tribond. Like, how would all these things have in common?
Two of them
Nostalgia.
rhyme.
Nostalgia is
Yeah.
the answer, I think.
Oh, there you go. They all relate back to the 1980s and therefore appropriate for this show.
Yeah, 70s, 80s, that sort of thing.
He said,
you know-
I can't.
I'm going to make an announcement.
Okay.
Why?
Hey, before we get started, a brief announcement. This show's going to edit together fantastically, by the way. You know, for folks watching us in the live, they get the benefit of seeing how truly terrible the show is.
Hey.
The effort of this live is to make people download the audio podcast.
Look down?
Download it. No, to download it.
Oh, to make them go and download, to avoid the live? Is that what you're saying?
You want the cleaned up version. Yeah. Oh, this is what this is? No, I'll just download it. It's much better. They cut out all the rigmarole. Right?
You're like running this elaborate reverse advertising scheme.
Yeah. Yes. It's like,
Tune in live. It'll really make you appreciate what you don't see live.
yes. Huh. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, hey, a quick announcement. I think
Kinda genius.
next week, pretty sure next week we're going to be off show-wise because I know I'll be traveling and I know Kat will be traveling when we usually record. Right, so there's that. But
Nope.
what?
No, I'm available next week.
No. Just pulling a cat next week.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what concert he's going to.
Well, Kat, if you wanted to know,
He doesn't go to concerts,
I'm actually having my first round of chemotherapy, but that's fine. You make your jokes. Make your jokes, Kat. It's fine.
About time.
Make your jokes. Well, that's what will get me through. Anyway, whew,
It got really dark.
Dad.
Hey, just go download it. You won't get the chemo joke.
let's just start all over again. All right. Hey, a quick announcement. Hey, we're going to be off next week. But as a so I don't think there'll be a new episode next week. But as a maybe semi-consolation, I don't know. On May 4th, if you're free, Saturday, May 4th, the evening of May 4th, I don't know what time it'll be, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. No, John, it's not that. In honor of May 4th, which is, Star Wars Day, I'll be doing, I don't know who will be joining me. Somebody will, maybe 1, 2, or 0 people will be joining me as we do Star Wars Trivia Live on Facebook, YouTube, right where we are right now. You can join us. And we're going to give away some cash prize. I'm thinking, let's see, what is it? The first movie came out in 77, right? So we've been celebrating May 4th since then. So let's see. What's the math? 2024 minus 1977.
Wait, you're going to give away $1,977? That's incredibly generous.
John,
Wow.
John, you and I are often on the same path. I started there, and then I was like, all right, maybe it could be $197.70. Then it became $19.77.
77 cents. That one we could manage. Yes.
Yeah.
But we keep going down, and now it's just 77 cents.
Yes, exactly.
Everyone who watches
$1.97.
gets 77 cents.
John, I mean, again, your jokes are revealing like what I was really considering. Because then I was like, all right. Because then my next thought was, all right, $19.77. That's not. No one's gonna want to, be on Facebook for that. So instead, we'll give it away to a few people. $19.77.
Oh, well, maybe.
But we're not going to do that.
Like May the
What's that?
4th. May the 4th, maybe 4 people.
The 4th.
4? Oh, okay.
Or give away a trilogy of $19.77.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Right.
Ooh.
No, I think instead what we're going to do is, since it's the 47th anniversary of Star Wars Day, we're going to be giving away $47. But probably because we can't give away increments of singles, it's going to be $50. So we're giving away $50. All right, so there you go.
Giving away 77 cents
At
at a
least
time.
50. Maybe it'll be more. Who knows? But it will happen on May 4th, the evening of May 4th. So I'm thinking probably like 8 p.m. Eastern, maybe, Kat. I don't know if Kat's going to join me or not. I know John, he doesn't like Star Wars, so he won't be protests.
All the more reason to show up and ridicule.
Oh, okay, there you go. Nerds.
Talk about rigmarole.
Are we saying nerds to us? All right, I think
turn.
that's it. Let's get started on it is news. Huh. So did you guys say hi to our friends when you were stalling there? I don't know.
If you go,
They're-
paper like that, it's.
What are you looking at? What?
I'm just completing the Will impersonation. First you go,
Yeah. You need a little
you rifle through
shuffle.
some papers.
Yep.
And that's when you realize the pages are all blank. What I was saying is, hey, let's say hi to folks if you haven't already. Hi, Owl. Hi, Darth. Hi,
Yes.
Karen. Hey, Miss So.
Yeah.
All
If
the
we
cool
haven't
people.
said hi to you and you're on the live, it's because we can't see you unless you say something to us.
Say hi.
Hey, there's
Hi,
Brandon.
everyone. Yeah, I saw
Rolling
Brandon there at some point.
Okay, there you go. All right, hey, this week in 1980s news, just as I teased earlier by saying Clue. As reported by the Hollywood Reporter, there's a Clue film. The Clue film and TV rights land at Sony. Now, this reminds me of our conversation from, I don't know, several months ago where we were talking about all the different Mattel games that were going to be made into movies.
Yes.
The actual ones. Like Uno. I mean, it's
Yes.
just bonkers.
Well, this one at least I can see a
Yeah.
plot happening
I
instead of
feel like the Uno. I recall that one got a little blue as we discussed what the Uno movie might be like. I don't recall what we talked about exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's
Yes.
because the woman who wrote the screenplay said it was, and I quote, fuck heavy.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I wonder if Clue will be. Oh.
I wonder too.
The studio didn't care for the first version of her script. But you're right, Kat. This one has people in it, at least.
Yes.
Not a deck of cards. Anyway. Well, as I mentioned,
Colonel
so that
fucking Mustard in the
yeah.
fucking library.
Oh, okay. There you go. Right. It's the word. She meant the word. She meant the word.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Very, very, very heavy.
It's an orgy with dire consequences.
Don't they all, bro? Really?
Oh,
Well, not murder necessarily or death.
No,
as
the
a
orgies.
result.
The orgies.
do they
dire
all involve
Of
candlesticks?
course, murders have dire consequences. It's a murder.
Okay. So look,
Yes.
Sony landed the deal with Hasbro Entertainment. So you get TriStar Pictures and Sony Pictures Television are going to be developing adaptations of the classic murder mystery board game. If you didn't know, and I didn't, But even though I played this game throughout the 1970s and 80s and still play it to this day, in fact, I meant to bring something to the studio here that I wanted to ask you guys if you had recognized this version of Clue that we've been playing recently.
Oh.
Maybe our intern will bring it to me.
Oh.
But
Go
the
interns.
The game's been around since the 1940s. It was actually invented by Anthony Pratt and Elva Pratt, a husband and wife, who were holed up in their home in Birmingham, England, during trying to hide out from air raids during World War II.
Wow. That's
Air raids during
an interesting origin story. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And apparently, among the many things that Anthony did, he was a musician, and so he recalled a game that the musicians would play, like waiting, in between gigs or waiting to go on stage. It was sort of this detective a murder sort of solve, some kind of using deduction game, and he blended that with Agatha Christie, which was very popular at the time, and came up with this game.
Wow.
But they pitched it to Waddington's their game publisher, and they snatched it right up. But even though the Pratts wanted to call it murder with an exclamation point,
I like that.
The game publisher said, let's call it Cluedo. And they were being clever because they were combining the word clue with the word ludo, which not only in Latin means I play, but is also the name of a game that's popular in the UK that's sort of like Parcheesi. So they were leveraging a brand already that was, a popular game among people in homes. I want to see if I stop talking, if anything happens.
I'm afraid to say anything, honestly.
Just say the right things.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, look, we don't have to wonder.
Right. Well, since you stopped talking,
yeah, we don't have to.
I was just
wonder.
waiting for you to start again so I can interrupt you. That's all.
Yeah, just keep doing it. We don't have to wonder if this is going to be right. I sort of joked at the beginning about the other deals that these companies are making to make, to turn their toys into,
Yes.
an 8-episode series on Apple TV. Uno was a real one. Matchbox Cars was a real one. Hot Wheels, whatever. Okay.
It was kind of, yeah.
We don't have to think too hard about whether this could be successful or not, because if you remember, in 1985, there was already a comedy based on the game that starred Tim Curry and Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Lee Ving, who we talked to a long time ago. He played Mr. Body, and a whole host of other folks in the movie. It wasn't a box office hit, but had had lukewarm reviews. But like many films in the 1980s, it seems the critics trash it, and it still goes on to be huge with audiences once it's available on VHS, of course. And the movie itself, which I watched, we watched not too long ago, it reminded me of another movie that came out a little bit earlier, was Murder by Death, which itself is a parody of Agatha Christie. Right. So there's a lineage for this type of film, and so it'd be hard to screw it up. Now, I don't know why they have the movie and TV rights, so how does that work out? You certainly don't want to. Is there a universe where these things are continuing? Like we've got a Boba Fett movie or Mandalorian movie coming that's a spinoff of the show. I don't know. It might be too much clue, I think.
Right. Do you need the Colonel Mustard origin movie? Or I think we can just agree that these are characters in Clue. You don't have to get them all assembled in the murder house.
Right.
We can start there. Right.
Yeah. You're right. They could make a great series where, if you got 8 episodes and let's say 6 characters that you follow each of them and then they're coming together, over the sort of the course of it. And then the mystery's finally revealed in the final act. Yeah.
Or have them do a flashback midway through, right? This starts with the murder and then you have each character has their own flashback. Put me in the writer's room.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many great
John,
ideas.
This is like, what was that? That horror anthology.
Haunting on Hill House.
No, the other one, the more recent one by the same guy, Mike Flanagan.
Right. Yes, that one. I can't think of the name of it.
Usher. House of Usher?
Fall of the House of Usher. Yeah. Based on Poe. That was
fantastic. Every episode was a different Poe story, but he threaded them together with this, and they were a lot of the stories were flashbacks, like John's talking about. Oh, yeah, that could be really good. Now, of course, if you recall, the 1985 movie was not only funny, but it was also a clever murder mystery. And I've often heard that when authors write these books, I read about this not too long ago, but when authors write mystery books, they work backwards. They figure out the ending and they sort of work backwards and lay the clues. But they say that the key to making a satisfying murder mystery is that the reader, or in this case maybe the viewer, we'll get it down to 3 people it could possibly be, and then we'll settle on one. And they may be right or wrong. They got about a 30% chance. With this movie, so the author's laying in clues that will make you think 3 people could have done it, maybe.
Right.
In this movie, they did the same thing, only they had them all be all 3 of those people, actually I think 4 technically, be the killer because this movie had multiple endings. And depending upon when and where you saw the movie, you got a different version, a different resolution to the story.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
How was that handled logistically on home video, though? This is one of those movies I've never seen. And I always appreciated, well, here's a brief aside. As I was prepping for this episode, I thought, if ever my 2 colleagues over at Gen X Grown Up were to watch an episode or listen to an episode of this show, you have 3 topics. Each of us are super fans of one of the 3 stories about a topic about which the other 2 don't care.
Oh. Is it this
And
one?
Clue is...
Okay, we could try
Clue
to
is
figure
one
out
that
who's what. Okay,
I don't have any direct knowledge of. So yeah.
Okay.
So one of them. But the point is, I was always curious how they handled that. On DVD, you could jump to different tracks. Maybe I figured they allowed that. Did you just not know which VHS tape you got, or did you have to collect all 4, or how did that work?
Did you have to go to different blockbusters?
Only Movie Gallery gets this ending. Blockbuster gets the other one. Right.
You had to leave the city limits. Come on, Mom, just another 10 miles.
I got to see how the other guy did it.
Yeah. What they did is when it was on cable and when on VHS, you're right, DVD, they had the advent of being able to change chapters. So maybe they did something a little different. I never saw it on DVD, but I've seen it on tape and I've seen it on cable. What they do is they just play each ending after another. And what they break them up by the narrator, I think, saying, or it could have happened this way.
Okay.
And so they have one ending, and then he says, or it could happen this way. They show another ending, and when they get to the final one, he says, but it happened this way. And they play,
so it suggests that's actually the ultimate conclusion in that order. Okay. So they kind of watered it down for DVD video release, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, and I see folks in the comments, like the movie, Darth says, sorry, the original Clue movie was a good movie. Yeah, I agree 100%.
I don't disagree. I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I love it. My
personal
family
knowledge.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a play going on touring the country right now. A Clue. It might be a musical that we were hoping to see. But Miss So says I haven't played it in a long time. They have some choose your own adventure games based on the books that came out a few years ago. Oh, cool. And Brandon says, didn't it have different endings? Yeah, that's right. Depending on where you saw it, that's absolutely right. There you go. Now, my family, look, we love Clue. We love the movie. We love the game. And most recently, my wife had this sort of, well, we were out with some friends, and our one friend said, hey, do you guys ever play the Clue VHS mystery game?
Oh.
And my wife had
seen
this
that.
real light bulb moment, like, oh my goodness, like a childhood memory unlocked, where she suddenly remembered playing it with her brother, like over and over again. And so, of course, immediately she found this one and its sequel on eBay.
Oh, yes.
Sequel. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now for folks, John, you'll appreciate this because look at this.
Oh.
The VHS is still in the packaging.
Yes. Yes.
Still crispy.
Yeah. As are the cards too. So this is a
my
rare
gosh.
find. But we've been playing this, which is cool because it's kind of like DVD games that came later where you'll remember this though because they did have some of these with tapes. You have to pause and then play or fast forward or different spots to get to the different scenes you want to see. But you have to pay attention to the scene because then solving the mystery depends upon what you observed while watching it. And you don't know what you're looking for. Yeah. So it's pretty fun anyway. I don't know if
Awesome.
Maybe I know the answer to my question, but how are you playing it if the VHS is still in shrink wrap? Do you have, Did you download the video, or did you get it on DVD also, or are you lying to me?
No.
Which of those options? Yes, all those.
John is asking the questions that pop up in my head as well.
We love playing this. As you can see, it's sealed.
We've never opened it. That's how much.
Playing by osmosis.
My wife cleverly found someone who had ripped the tapes to DVD, so we used the DVDs.
Ah, there we go.
Plus, it's a lot easier because you can bounce around.
Of course, yeah.
You'll remember though, just a couple of years ago, I think we talked about it on the show. There was already a Clue movie that was supposed to be coming, starring Ryan Reynolds and being written by the team that brought us the Deadpool movies. So it's unknown what's to become of that, but I imagine with this announcement, it's not going to happen. Anyway, Hasbro also recently announced that they're making a monopoly with the woman who did Barbie, Margot Robbie, with her company Lucky Chap. You guys did a great job with Barbie. Can you help us make a Monopoly movie? Because that's, you could do it with anything.
Is Margot Robbie going to play the banker with the top hat and spats?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Ryan Reynolds will be in jail. The little jail guy.
Yeah.
Oh, was it crossover?
Yeah.
Look, Barbie made a statement about society. I think Monopoly could too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, about,
Greed is good. That hasn't been done yet, has it?
No, that's a great line. You should put you in the writer's
Still
room.
wide open. There you go. Write that down.
What about income income inequality? There were two ins next to each other. Income inequality? All right. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
You look like a Baltic Avenue kind of person.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. I got to do some Googling and figure out. Or maybe get the board.
It ain't St. Charles, I'll tell you that.
Baltic is one of the cheapy cheaps.
Oh, yeah. Dirt cheap.
Yep.
Yeah. You buy them if you pass go and get plenty of change left over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Keith said he'd watch it. All right. Oh, and Brandon says if it's a Monopoly movie, it needs to be just like Wall Street. There you go. You guys are on the same wavelength there.
All right.
See there? I'm reading everybody's minds today.
Oh, and Craig says that was the point of the game, to shine a light on capitalism.
To crush the peons under your boot. Yeah, that's the point.
There you go. Hey, in other 1980s news, as reported by Variety, Rocky II's story changed following an injury to its star.
Ooh.
Now, if you remember, it's so funny because I don't remember all the Rockies very clearly, and I kind of mix up what happens. Like, I swear he fights Mr. T in Rocky 2.
Oh.
But he doesn't. He fights him in Rocky 3. So,
Rocky 3. Okay.
Yeah, Rocky 2 is essentially a rematch between Rocky and Apollo Creed.
I used to remember them from, he lost, he won, he lost, and then I lost track.
I think he just kept winning after that.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, right, he might have kept winning. But he had personal losses. Does that count? He lost.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Those are the worst losses. I know. He
too
lost his
deep?
wife.
Yeah.
He lost his mental fitness. Oh, that's terrible.
Yep.
Anyway, in the first Rocky movie, the one thing I do remember is how important it was that he was a southpaw. In fact, it was a plot element of sorts because so many times he talked about how I'm a southpaw, and they'd be like, Apollo, you can't fight a guy who's a southpaw. That's fine. I could fight a guy who's a southpaw. Don't worry about it. No problem. Yeah, with southpaws, you gotta keep them on your toes. In fact, I checked the script, and southpaw is mentioned 8 times. Now, this doesn't sound like a whole lot of numbers, but a high number. But for a plot, I don't know. I'll say it's the MacGuffin of the film, but it was important. What's interesting is what I didn't remember is that in Rocky 2, suddenly he's not southpaw anymore.
Right.
Instead, his character has eyesight problems. And so he's forced to learn. Talk about Johnny with his losses. I guess he started with his eyesight, losing his eyesight.
Yep,
first.
there you go.
And because he can't see well out of that side, he is now forced to learn how to fight with his right hand.
All right.
It never occurred to me what a silly reason that is to fight with your right hand. What? Your eyes are in the same place on your head. You can see over there just like you can see over there. I mean, it seemed quite odd to me.
And any depth, what is it called? Depth
perception? Yeah.
And depth
it's going to be the same on either side.
Yeah. Yeah, you mind stepping over to my left a little bit? Yeah. I would just keep stepping to my right. Yeah.
There's also this radical fighting trick I can show you. If you're having trouble seeing out of your right eye, watch this. You ready?
Oh, he turned his head.
It's really easy. Yeah. It's so easy. You turn your head slightly to the side, and you're fine. But
Craig says
I don't want to ruin Rocky
vision.
2 for you.
Yeah, give me peripheral vision too. Yeah. Anyway, it never occurred to me a couple of things. One, that was kind of a dumb story point. I just assumed it was. Yeah. I don't know, but I was a kid when I saw it, I guess. Anyway,
Anyway, I think that
out
factors into it. If you're a kid, okay, it didn't matter.
When's he gonna fight, Mom? Is he gonna win this time? Anyway, turns out
after he's done being a southpaw, Billy.
Now is he a northpaw? Are we rooting for the north or the south? So it wasn't Stallone's original plan, though, to have him have to do this. He was going to continue to be a southpaw. But Stallone revealed on the TMZ special called Arnold and Sly, Rivals, Friends, Icons, where it's an interview with both Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I believe the only time they've sat down together for an interview. And of course, as we've talked before, these guys have a long history of being friendly, rivals over the decades.
Frenemies.
Since they've had their career.
Setting one another up for movies they didn't want to do. Yes. I know.
Yes, I remember that.
Lampooning one another in their films. Yeah, all these kinds of fun things. Well, it turns out that there was actually what Stallone believed at the time, a near career-ending injury that took place that threatened to put his boxing franchise on hold, even before he was set to shoot the sequel. Stallone was training with Franco Columbu. Now, there's an interesting thing about this, and I read about it, and I can't find it now. But Franco Columbu, though, is you've seen him in. I think you've probably seen him in movies. He's also trains Schwarzenegger. He's one of Schwarzenegger's best friends. Anyway, he was training with Franco Columbu a month and a half before Rocky II was set to shoot, when he rips his pec muscle, as he describes, right off the bone. Stallone went on to explain. And when he tells the story, he says that Franco, he calls Frank, he was challenging, like pushing him, like, come on, I can't, can you do this much weight? So Stallone says, so I go down and maybe it's only 200 pounds. I'm just warming up and I hear pow. I fall on the floor and Franco goes, let me see. He jams his fingers. I've torn my pec off the bone. I mean bad. I could hear it go rip. And he's jamming his fingers. I think I'm going to black out. And we have audio from that day. So,
Ouch.
Anyway, Rocky II is set to, like as I mentioned, it's set to shoot just within 2 months. And if you don't recall, Sylvester Stallone not only wrote these films and stars in them, he was going to direct this one as well.
Wow!
And so Stallone's certain his career's done. He can't use his left arm the way he normally would, and certainly not to box. But instead of quitting, Stallone pressed on. And decided, hey, if I can't use my left arm, then neither can Rocky. And he rewrote the script to account for his injury. And the rest is history, so to speak. It went on to be a huge success, $200 million at the worldwide box office, and the third highest growing movie of the year in 1979.
Well, so maybe a stupid plot twist, but good thing he did it anyway.
Well, he didn't let it derail the film. It was the important thing, right? So it turned out. It reminds me a little of a Princess Bride. I know one thing you do not know. I am not left-handed.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of like this reverse Rocky thing.
Yep.
No, I started telling you guys, and I didn't finish. Because it wasn't the right timing at the moment. But I read, and it was probably in this. It's probably in this video interview. But I didn't watch the video. I read excerpts of it, And I read one of them, but I couldn't find it again. Where Stallone questions, or he said he questions at the time, whether Schwarzenegger hadn't put Franco up to it to keep him from filming Rocky.
Ooh.
That he would get
I can't
injured.
imagine.
Oh no!
That's how crazy their rivalry was.
Oh my gosh!
How would Columbu have made him be a wuss and tear a muscle with 200 pounds? It's not like he was like, go ahead, lift a ton, you can do it, right? It wasn't like he has a crazy amount of weight, not like a setup.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, now jerk it really fast, as fast as you can.
Right.
More abruptly.
You've heard of clean and jerk? Yeah,
Are you
just
lifting
snap
with your legs? Lift with your back.
That didn't sound right. Do it again.
How many reps? Keep going till you hear a pop.
Yes.
Anyway, in a moment reminiscent of his on-screen character, Stallone said, quote, "It's interesting the way these incredible journeys happen, but we don't stop, we don't quit." That's just what Rocky would do, right?
Yep.
I stopped watching the Rockies, I want to say after Rocky IV, but I do remember watching the one with Tommy Gunn in it. Do you remember Tommy Gunn? And after that, I stopped watching them, I think. No, I watched the recent one that was Rocky. Because there was Rocky and then there was Balboa, right? I think. No, Balboa. I watched Balboa. That was actually good.
That was pretty good. I saw that one.
Rocky V was garbage.
I feel like I've seen them all at least once. I had to have. Yeah.
I mean, you're watching the Creed films too?
First, I didn't continue with them. Not for any negative reason, just too much media.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, it says Rocky 2 was good, but my favorite is 4, the best fight ever with Ivan Drago. Turn the surround sound all the way up, and it feels like a badass. I feel like a badass vicariously for about 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes. I love it.
That works.
Hey. Also, this week in 1980s news from Entertainment Weekly, a 1980s favorite returns to Doctor Who. Oh. Now, I'm going to be straight with you guys. I think I've told you this before. I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm not a Whovian, as they'd say. But my limited experience with Doctor Who came in the 80s, in the early 80s, because Tom Baker, who was the Doctor Who at the end of the 70s, they started airing those in the U.S. In the early 80s. Maybe it started in the very late 70s, but certainly in the early 80s. And it was on, I want to say it was on PBS. It was probably some sort of,
yes,
part of that block of BBC shows that we'd get on PBS. And I loved it. I don't know what was going on, but it was sci-fi. It was time travel. It was weird special effects. It was fun. And I've watched a little bit of the newer ones, but there is something about Doctor Who that's been consistent, it seems, throughout the decades. And again, I watched it in the 80s, and I watched a few in the last, 10 years maybe, that they're so fun in the sense that it's kind of like we talked about the King Kong Godzilla movie. You feel like a kid could be making up. It's like how we play. I mean,
so they take it very seriously inside of the universe, but it's often nutty premises. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. It requires the imagination of a youthful person, I think, to come up with these situations they get into. I don't know. But one thing I didn't realize or remember was, or know about, was this character, Melanie Bush. And it's been almost 40 years since she first stepped into the TARDIS. Bonnie Langford is the actor that created that character. She made her debut on Doctor Who in 1986 as the bubbly redheaded companion to Colin Baker's Sixth Doctor, and she has the distinction of also serving the Seventh Doctor as well. In fact, she has, she's been on...
Was that Sylvester McCoy? No.
Yeah, Sylvester McCoy was the seventh.
Was it? Okay.
Nice.
But she's... Oh, here it is. So she's been on screen with multiple doctors, including Baker, McCoy, Whittaker, and Tennant, David Tennant, and Jodie Whittaker as well. Anyway, so now she's returned, though. I think this is, look... I don't know. It's just so cool. It's cool for lots of reasons. One, because it's something from the 1980s that's, still here. But also, she's an older woman. She's in her 60s and still getting work. I love it.
Yes. Yes, that is awesome. I love that.
But she first appeared in the... Good job.
And like you, not a huge Doctor Who fan. I've watched plenty of it, but I'm not a Whovian. I haven't watched every single one. I don't know every Doctor. I know John Pertwee. I know Tom Baker. I know Sylvester McCoy, just from samplings, right? Because it's lived my entire life and, before. But we've also talked many times, one of the things I love that they're doing here is I really enjoy seeing characters we knew when we were young, what they're doing now that they're old. It's what I appreciated about the later Indiana Jones movies. It's what I appreciated about this latest Ghostbusters film. What I like most about it is seeing those people also age and see how they deal with the things that I'm dealing with. Because when they were young, I was young, and now I'm not, and they're not. And so you get to see the character evolve just like the people do. I love that. Whenever they do that, it's great for me.
That's awesome.
And that's got to be a newer phenomenon, right? I don't know what's to account for that, except for the fact that we don't seem as old as we are in our 60s as we did in the 80s when you're in your 60s.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? And you're not. I mean, so health-wise, physically, all these different things, cognitively, that you're able to do it. I don't know what else would account for that we have a greater appreciation for, folks into an older age than maybe we did generations ago even. In this country.
What else? Coming to America was a great resurgence of those characters. See what they're like. We saw their trajectory in a film in the 80s. Where have they been? What do we get? Where are they at now? What are they doing? And in this article, you see that this companion has been doing serious work. She has become not just a companion to a doctor, but taken what she learned from the doctor and use it in the real world. She had alien experience and stuff that she's actually using in the real world of the universe that otherwise she would not have had, which kind of makes up for the fact that really? the companions don't get much to do in the series for a long time.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there. Yeah,
Did you hear how John said that? Alien experience. He's so jealous of the alien experience.
I know. The
probing.
Great job.
Oh, the probing. You're right, John. In fact, she points out in this article that and when she was in the 1980s playing this character, she said, quote, I used to run about and scream at monsters and go, oh, doctor.
Sounds like poor Nichelle Nichols. Hailing frequencies, Captain. Like that was her big...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She adds that the character, Mel, was written as a computer programmer, but that she didn't go anywhere near a computer. That's terrible. But as you mentioned, in this latest incarnation, she gets to use her technical skills. So she appeared most recently in the 60th anniversary special, The Giggle, that then joining Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor. So we're on the current Doctor now as a new actor. Ncuti Gatwa is the actor's name. But she'll be... I'm sorry. Then she'll be joining Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor in the upcoming season, which is premiering on May 10th on Disney Plus and on the BBC. Oh, I didn't know we can get it now. It used to be a big pain in the ass to get it. You need BBC America, and then now they have BritBox, so they they lock everything up, so you have to pay for another tier of something. And then I lost all my shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I just want to point out that Kat did Foley work when you listed the name of the episode, the 60th anniversary episode.
Okay.
You said it was called The Giggle. And she giggled.
Excellent. That's excellent, Kat. Thank you.
You can catch it in the edit. Yeah.
Okay.
Amp it up. Echo, please. Thanks.
Oh. Keith says, Ncuti Gatwa. That was a filter I put on you. Called Monster. Keith says Ncuti Gatwa's doctors are perfect, jumping on point. You know, that's the one thing about shows like this. I get intimidated. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I want to be able to be that person that says, oh, this reminds me of in the second season. This is a callback. But I can't do that. So I'm going to be like all my references or whatever I see from now forward. So I'm like, screw it. Then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Maybe you can.
All or nothing.
Yeah. I was very fortunate to have a dear friend of mine, still have a dear friend of mine, who is a huge Doctor Who fan. Mm-hmm. And what he would do is he tried to get me into it. We were roommates in college. I never really bit. I tried, just didn't grab me. And so what he'll do is he'll go, all right, I've got another great standalone episode for you. You don't have to know any background of anything. Or he'll say, here's this one. All you need to know is blah, blah, blah. Now watch that one. And so that's how I watch Doctor Who, is when my dear friend cherry picks an episode. He's pre-screened it to make sure I'm not going to miss anything important. So this one's great to watch on its own. So that's really how I consume Doctor Who anymore.
Yeah, my daughter did that with me too, my oldest one. During the reboot. Craig says I watched it in the 80s and I didn't return until the reboot in the early 2000s. That's when my kid picked it up, and then she would say, oh, you got to look, just watch this one. And then, I saw some great episodes that way. And that's why I understand I would like it. It's a lot to commit to.
Yeah. Overwhelming. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there you go. All right.
It would be hard for me to come partway through as well. I see Craig is saying that he started with the 9th Doctor and it wasn't too confusing, but there would be a part of me that's like, oh, but I'm missing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard not to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And by the way, that was the second of 3 stories that would appeal to only one of the Gen X grown-up guys. That was the second one.
So at the end, Kat, we got to figure out who between John, George, or Mo, who likes, what was the first story?
Clue.
Clue.
And now
Doctor Who. And there's at least one more coming.
All right.
Oh,
I have a guess is what it is. I think it's this next story right here.
We'll see.
Wait, is it Jell-O?
Yeah, I think it's the Jell-O. I think it's the Jell-O. Let's save Jell-O for last, because it's going to be the Jell-O. All right. Hey, let's see. Next up.
Huh.
That's all the pages. Guys. Hey, next up in 1980s news, and per the Hollywood Reporter, the creator of The Naked Gun doesn't approve of the reboot. So we just, we talked about this a while ago, that Liam Neeson is going to be the new Frank Drebin. Or at least that character. I don't know if they're going to call him the same thing or not. But,
right.
But we most recently learned that Pamela Anderson is signed on to star opposite Liam Neeson in this Paramount Pictures remake, which is based, incidentally, on a comedy show that only lasted 6 episodes in a series called the Police Squad.
Police Squad.
which aired in the 1980s. And then we had it roll into films, Naked Gun, which began in the 1980s, and then they continued with sequels into the 1990s. That show, by the way, is still hysterical.
Spectacular. Yep.
So clever.
6 episodes. That's all there was.
Yeah.
There's a million running gags. For 6 episodes, they had most shows, their first season is like hit or miss and they haven't found their footing. By the second episode already, you were seeing repeating gags that they clearly would have run for years if they had been allowed to. They're always crashing into trash cans on the curb, even if there's not chasing anyone. Every episode has 2 titles.
Yep.
Every episode has a guest star who dies in the opening scene. It's like the reverse of Law and Order.
Yep.
If you watch Law and Order and you see a celebrity and you go, they did it. You're sure, right? Why would you bring this person on? Well, in Police Squad, they brought in like William Shatner. And he chokes in a cafe in the beginning. He's the victim. Always the guest star is dead in the first scene. It was just ludicrous and great fun. Yes.
Of course, and you're waiting for them to freeze at the end during the credits. Will they do it or not? I love that. Yeah. Oh, Miss So says, I had no idea they were remaking Naked Gun. I'm sorry, Miss So, that you're having to hear it this way. But yes, they are. Maybe you're a Pamela Anderson fan, though. Maybe that'll cheer you up. I don't know. I don't know, but you know what? There's a reason I'm being a little more optimistic about it. It's because Akiva Schaffer and is directing it, and the script was written by Dan Greger, Doug Mand, and Schaffer co-wrote it, and they were behind the Emmy-winning Disney Plus movie Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. And I've got to say, I expected nothing from that movie. It was fucking hysterical.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I mean, like. It was wacky and weird and surreal, and they did shit that I can't imagine that Disney let them do with, I guess Disney owns, or whoever owned the properties, because they had to get licenses for a bunch of characters that were in there. Like the ugly Sonic. John, did you see this movie, Chip and Dale?
No.
Oh my God, it's so funny, man.
Okay.
It's one of those
You're
animation.
ticking boxes for me, so I'm probably going to see it now.
It's like the Chipmunks movies where it's live action and animated. But it's like Wreck-It Ralph and Roger Rabbit in a sense, because they have some other characters from other worlds at different times.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
And it's a murder mystery, and they're trying to solve a murder. It's so well done. But
That's also
it's
Roger Rabbity.
hysterical.
I love that. Okay.
I
wonder where they
it.
do
Yeah.
that.
hysterical.
I
But
love
like
that.
one of the
too.
surprising things about that was if you remember Sonic the Hedgehog, they had that movie coming out, and the first trailer showed that horrible CG.
Yeah.
And they got lamb basted for it.
Yep.
So they changed it. Thank God. They're at a comic book convention like that we go to, and people signing autographs. And one of the characters they come across is Ugly Sonic, and he's like the first Sonic that got the can. Somebody let him put him in the movie. I don't know who owns Sonic.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's really funny.
That's
All right.
But anyway,
I mean-
because those guys are behind it, I thought, okay, they are maybe a contemporary, Zucker, Abrams, Zucker, Pat Proft, the guys who did the airplane movies, who did the Naked Gun and the Police Squad. In fact, I was just about to tell you about them. The original movie was written and directed by Jerry Zucker, Jim Abrams, and David Zucker, based on their popular show that we told you about. There you go. Blah, 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 blah. I think we painted the picture of what Police Squad was. Everybody knows what that is. Regarding the reboot, we have no plot details. We suspect we know Liam Neeson's playing the lead, so probably Drebin, and we do know now that Pamela Anderson is playing his love interest in the way that Priscilla Presley played in the films with Leslie Nielsen. Anyway,
Really though, do you need a plot for a Naked Gun movie?
Good question.
Isn't that really just a skeleton onto which hang bits?
no, well,
Really?
yes, but you need that. I think you need a strong skeleton to your
You
metaphor.
need something there, right? Okay, okay.
What did we talk about? Ghostbusters 2016 was all bits and no skeleton.
That's fair. That's an excellent
weak
point.
skeleton.
That's an excellent point. But to the Naked Gun leans more heavily on bits. Like that's what it is. If you're saying I want to be faithful to the original is bits with a thread of a story. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't have a plot yet is in no way a detriment to me being excited about the film because it's not about the plot for me. It's going to be about
Yeah.
how they put the bits together, I guess is where I'm going.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And Leslie Nielsen could pull that off. I'm wondering if Liam Neeson can.
Oh my gosh. You know, he is hilarious.
Okay.
Have you seen some of his stuff, John? Like
Liam
on
Neeson's.
Extras? He was a guest star on Extras, Ricky Gervais's BBC show where it was about extras in movies.
Uh-huh.
He does this one scene. It's so funny. You just got to look it up. Even if I say it, I feel like it's just terrible.
Oh, no.
It's as bad as the joke I made earlier about pretending I had cancer, which we'll cut out from the show, including this line. Which I don't. And that's really terrible because I have friends and family who have obviously battled.
Well, and two, Cat, if you think about it, I'm pretty sure that Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor until he got the part in these Naked Gun films. And like, what's he doing in this jokey movie? And he became the jokey actor. He did serious bits up until that point.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
I thought you were alluding to that, Cat. All right, maybe you didn't know that. Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
Yet
I
Leslie
just-
Nielsen didn't think he could pull it off. He
Really?
was like, yeah, no, yes. And it's
And
really
I
kind of
only
funny.
know him as that. I only know
Right.
him as this jokey guy, except, with deadpan jokey guy.
Cat, it's actually super surreal to go back and find an old Leslie Nielsen film, black and white film, and he's, I'm serious, this is a big deal. And you're waiting for him to break. You're expecting him to crack the joke. And it's very unnerving because he was that up until that point, and then forever we've known him since then as this comedic actor.
Yeah.
That's not how he made his bones. And you go to old things, and they're so funny. You're waiting for the joke.
I had no idea. That's fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, and if you think about, and it's almost sometimes when you watch those films, you can't help but think it's supposed to be a comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about Forbidden Planet, which I think is probably the only other movie I've seen him in. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So I think Liam Neeson could do it. He does this thing, and what I've seen him do is funny. Is he takes whatever he's doing super seriously. Now, Leslie Nielsen had Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen. All right,
I know it's hard to
weird, right?
I almost tripped on this.
Leslie Nielsen had this kind of twinkle in his eye where he was, I don't know, sort of mischievousness that,
Yes.
I don't know. Not that he was in on the joke as the character, but kind of. Liam Neeson's got zero of that, so it will be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Nielsen had like a charming obliviousness at all times.
Yeah.
He was never in on the joke, and he wasn't even aware he was doing something ridiculous half the time, and that's what made it so funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson or Leslie Nielsen?
No, Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Neeson, Liam Nielsen.
Which
Liam
L
Neeson's.
N?
Send them both together.
Brundle
Anyway,
fly.
regarding the reboot, as I mentioned up top here, David Zucker, who I mentioned was one of the original creators of these films, he told TMZ that he's not excited about having the franchise being taken over by other people, especially because he, along with his partners Pat Proft and Mike McManus, wrote a script for a new film in 2018 and believed that the studio liked it. Adding to this, he noted that he has zero involvement in the new film whatsoever, saying, quote, Paramount is just going ahead and doing it. They haven't involved me. I just don't have any thoughts on it. They're just going to do whatever they want to do. That's Hollywood. They have not contacted me not to make a cameo or be involved with the writing, end quote.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's probably okay. I mean, for all that folks, don't like the new Star Wars stuff, and me included, I have issues with it. I don't dislike all of it, and I certainly don't dislike it because Kathleen Kennedy's in charge of Lucasfilm or because women are giving more, bigger roles in the films. That's not why I don't like them. There's plenty of other reasons to dislike them. But I do think you need a clean break with stuff like that. It wouldn't have been helpful, I don't think, to have George Lucas, for example, continue to be involved in these films as they're going on, You can't really evolve, I think.
Yeah,
Not
good
when
point.
someone's so institutional in that, in that regard. It's kind of like we were talking about the politicians that won't leave office last week. Anyway, regarding the new cast, you have something to say, John?
Nope.
Regarding the new cast, Zucker noted that he knows O.J. Simpson will not be in it. He goes on to say that, quote, O.J.'s acting, because O.J. was in the original films, O.J.'s acting was a lot like his murder. He got away with it but nobody believed him.
Oh,
End quote.
yep.
Well, and plus also he's dead. So
Yes,
Well,
right.
yeah.
it's
Paramount
the same
just-
reason Leslie Nielsen will not be in the film.
Oh, you're right. You didn't point that out.
Yeah.
But everybody believed him.
Yeah.
So far, Paramount's penciled in for July 18th, 2025, but we know those things often change.
Mm-hmm.
All right, finally, in 1980s news here, and then we're going to wrap up the show and get the hell out of here. Which is what I say when we'd have more news and fewer topics. Let's see. Some folks had some things to say about Naked Gun. Oh, maybe I got rid of them already. Keith had to leave because he had to help his son with his homework. I get that, Keith. Have a good night, man. Good luck. Hopefully it's not the new math.
Oh.
Tougher way to get to the same place.
All right, finally, in 1980s news, and I'm going to guess this is John's favorite topic. Wait, John, you weren't revealing your topic was the first one, were you? Because you said you had no interest in or knowledge of Clue.
Right.
And it's not
So
Dr.
actually,
Who.
Naked Gun was 3 of 3. That was the third one.
Oh, damn it!
So-
All right.
That's okay. You're right.
Huh.
Yeah, that was
Man.
We still don't know who. We still don't know
Oh,
who's
it
who
was
though.
Jell-O.
Kat. You got to figure
right.
it out.
Who's who? Not sure. That's right.
That's right. We'll
Now,
figure
I've
it
laid all the clues necessary to solve it
Damn.
The clue.
Oh, this was a mystery episode, John.
the
that
whole
was so
time.
Meta. Oh man.
I've given you all the information you need to solve it.
All right, so don't tell us now. Then we'll listen to the
I'm
show
not-
back and we'll see if we could figure it out. And we'll send in our. Everyone will send in their guesses, and whoever gets them all right will win a pat on the back. John will find out.
What did we win?
$19.77.
Yes, $1. Hey, whoa, $1.97.
Oh,
We're gonna make it $1.98 because we're gonna round that seven
You're
up
gonna
to
round up.
$1.98.
7.
$2.
Finally, in 1980s news, as reported by comicbook.com, Jell-O introduces new flavored puddings. I think that
Okay.
deserves some fanfare. Fanfare going here. Where's my fanfare? Oh,
I think one of them does. One of them deserves it.
There it is. Fanfare. Well done.
Craig says, wait, there's a mystery? Now I have to go back and listen to this as a podcast.
It was a true crime and
Versus-
you didn't know it.
You
Yes, see?
have,
Yes.
Craig.
And that's why earlier I was discouraging people from watching the lives.
So go download.
Were there visual clues, John? Were you holding up a picture of George and Mo? We didn't realize
no.
because I was looking down
No,
at the
no.
script. Okay.
No. They were all oral clues, if you
All right,
will.
there you go. Okay. All right. Hey, finally, like I said, all right. So it's been 5 years, it turns out. If folks have been keeping track, and I haven't, it's been 5 years since you've gotten a new Jell-O flavor. But now, good news, Jell-O is back,
It's about damn time.
isn't it?
Said no one ever who just buys chocolate.
Vanilla here.
Yes. There's a ton of flavors. I know, it's kind of ridiculous.
Butterscotch, I guess, once in a while. Yeah, chocolate.
So on April 23rd, Jell-O announced you'll be able to consume Jell-O Churro Delicioso and Jell-O Mango Sabroso. And after you Google what those are, you might purchase one or the other of those. I don't think I've ever had a churro before. It's like what? It's like dough and cinnamon or something?
I think so.
I've
Have
always
you
seen them
ever
on
been
TV.
to Taco Bell?
Yeah,
Have
I've
you ever
never
had
No.
a cinnamon twist?
Oh, yeah. I've had those. That's what it is.
That's kind of what a churro is, but more dense. So it's
Okay.
very cinnamony, doughy. The cinnamon twist kind of like burst into dust in your mouth, whereas a churro you have to bite it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's a cinnamon doughy thing on a stick.
It sounds a little like a Annie Ann's pretzel, cinnamon pretzel.
A little bit,
I
but
love
without pretzel.
those, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the churro
Yeah, without the
delicioso is said to be inspired by the growing popularity of churros. Now, again, I don't know that. I know in Southern California they're huge because I see them on TV shows that are features, set there. But growing beyond that, I don't know. It hasn't reached northeastern Ohio yet.
The other flavor we'll get to sounds fine, but no one was ever eating a churro and went, man, I wish this was a cold paste instead. What? Pudding? As
Now
a
you make Now you got me thinking about your Franks and beans. If somebody was walking along and
Wait. Let's clarify. I shall make it very clear. When Will says he's thinking about John's Franks and beans, it's literal. It is not a euphemism.
yes, that's true.
I want to be super clear. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and I wasn't likening your Franks and beans to a churro in that sense.
It's something else you like in a paste form? Where are you going with this?
And now I'm remembering we talked about the Franks and beans off air, so this is not going to make any sense. All right, so maybe
For the first
when has
time,
that
it's
ever
not
stopped
me.
you?
No, it's like a Reese's peanut butter cup commercial. Someone's walking along with a churro, and someone's walking along with pudding, and they bump into each other, and that's what happened.
And they start a fist fight because neither of those two things fit together.
And I want the churro because that's whoosh, whoosh. And if I get to your peck, stick the fingers in there.
Right off the bone.
And the other flavor, mango sabroso. The flavor is the brand's first ever fruit-forward refrigerated. This is how I wrote this.
Fruit forward.
On comicbook.com. Fruit-forward refrigerated pudding cup.
What?
And it draws inspirations from Latin flavors. Yeah, both of these seem to, right?
Fruit forward.
What does that mean? Fruit forward.
I don't know. They're trying to create some new, I don't know, category for which we should advocate. Wait a second. Is your pudding fruit forward? It isn't? We want forward. We want fruit forward.
Equal rights for fruits. Put the fruits forward.
You're not fruit forward thinking enough. IBM is introducing a new fruit forward policy. Hiring. All right.
Isn't there lemon pudding? That's fruit, right?
Yeah, you're right. Lime was a big thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe these people who wrote this don't realize those are fruits.
Gelatins, not puddings, though. I guess
Oh,
probably like a lemon
John's
meringue pudding,
But
but
lemon pudding?
gelatin, yes,
you're
fruit
right.
flavors. Look, the gelatins have a long storied history of being fruit forward. Puddings, not so much.
Long story.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, but
And
They have a
the thing you've been
quite a
longing
track record.
to hear whenever you have a churro or mango flavored dessert is that these are zero sugar. Zero sugar offerings.
I like a little sugar in my pudding.
Yeah.
And
I want
I
all
would-
the sugar.
Yeah. I'm worried about if there's no sugar, what's in there sweetening it. I don't like artificial sweeteners.
Cerveza cristal.
Mango
Out of there,
sabroso.
Churro, whatever. What was the other one?
I could see a fruit pudding. Yeah, I would try that.
Yeah.
But it's I feel like
I would try it.
whatever drugs Pop-Tarts have been on for the last decade, they just shared it with Jell-O. And went,
Oh.
you want some crazy flavors, dude? You need to try pumpkin pie. You need to try whatever crazy
pumpkin
flavors that
pie?
they've Pop-Tarts, yeah. Yes.
What?
Oh yeah,
Right.
right. Yep.
No.
Are they
I've
only
missed this.
Are they seasonal though, or they're available all year?
Oh.
Well, it depends on how long you leave them in the pantry, so I have some.
Yes, I think they're seasonal.
We bring some to me in July, okay?
Yeah.
Pumpkin pie.
They'll still be fine.
Okay.
But yeah.
I know they will.
The gelatin, yes. The fruit pudding, even okay, but I can't imagine, like, is my jaw wired shut? You had to put my churro in a blender and eat it through a straw?
You know what,
Because-
John? You joke, but you'll be coming out of surgery, waking up from anesthesia. And you're not going to just want that plain old gelatin.
He'll be
No.
grateful for the churro
Right.
pudding.
My jaw's like, I only want something that's fruit forward.
Hey, John, you need a medical bracelet that says that on it.
Fruit forward only. Do not resuscitate without fruit forwardness. Message continued on Franks and Beans.
Fruit forward DNR. Oh my God. FFDNR. Oh, jeez. Karen says she just had some Jell-O chocolate pudding for dessert tonight. So delicious.
It's delish.
Mango sounds
I
more
get
like a
get the
gelatin
tall cups.
flavor. Yeah,
Oh.
that's true. I get that.
Yep. Mango gelatin. They have that already. Mango gelatin. Super. Yeah, it's great.
Brandon says, "What the fuck? Don't make my pudding any more complicated than chocolate and vanilla swirl."
Thank you.
That is complicated.
Thank you. My point exactly.
Hey, in other artificially flavored snack news, Jell-O isn't the only
You've all been
brand of-
dying for.
Jell-O isn't the only brand with new offerings this month. Earlier this April, Post announced the launch of Spring Fruity Pebbles.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's the latest entry. I'm expecting a picture from John at any moment. John always sends me pictures of all Fruity Pebble versions of things because he knows I love Fruity Pebbles.
Yep.
It's the latest entry in the Pebbles lineup. It says the cereal features the fruity taste fans have come to love in Fruity Pebbles, only now in flakes inspired by the colors of flowers and springs. Pink, green, yellow, and blue. Because kids love eating plants. I don't get this. I guess maybe
The
they're
fifth
bigger.
mystery one, churro flavored.
Instead of being little rice, crispy shaped things, they're
Yeah.
bigger. So maybe there's something to that. But
I'm thinking like cornflakes is how I envision this.
yeah, but colorful.
Like cornflakes that had dye in them, right? So they look like out of date cornflakes.
Yeah. Or to me, I imagine based on this description, they look like petals from a flower, and I don't know that I want to eat that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Instead of pebbles, there'll be slate or actual rocks. Little
Actual-
larger than pebbles.
Wait, what?
They-
Instead of
you,
being
you said they're going to be larger. They're not going to be little.
they're flakes instead of rice.
But also
kernels.
thin and wispier.
Yeah, they're puffed rice now, so now they're
So
going to
like
be.
slate. So like pieces of slate.
Oh yeah, like a slice of Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha, fruity slate.
Yep.
Ah.
Unfortunately, slate is also the plural, so that doesn't really.
Because they thought that fruity bam bam could be misconstrued.
Yeah,
What, Kat?
fruit forward, bam bam. Yeah.
What happened, Kat?
I don't even know what you mean, but it was
I don't
hilarious.
either. Oh,
Must have been the delivery.
I forgot all about this year. Okay. Look, it turns out there's tons of Jell-O flavors, right, including these two that we just talked about.
Yes.
But in a long history of Jell-O, there's been many flavors that have been discontinued. So once again, it's time to play.
Uh-oh.
I got a list of 5 of the strangest discontinued Jell-O flavors.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
One of them I made up.
Oh.
Ooh.
If you could tell me the one I made up, you will earn my undying respect and gratitude, and John will fly out and give me a pat. Give one of you a pat in the back or pat himself. All right, here you go. Here
So we're going to work together on this, Kat?
Yeah,
and I?
yeah,
How's
that's,
this working?
yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay. Here's the 5. Okay.
Mixed vegetable and seasoned tomato Jell-O.
Oh my God.
Let me put a little sound here.
I hope that's the one you made up.
Cola Jell-O. Imitation apple Jell-O.
Fruit forward.
Coffee Jell-O. Or celery Jell-O.
Oh God.
One of those I completely made up. The other 4 are actual strange and discontinued Jell-O flavors.
Understandably discontinued.
Oh. John.
All right. What are you thinking?
Any ideas?
I think
Well,
the
check
3 in
and
the
guess as
middle
well.
are real. I think.
Okay.
3 in
So
the
you like
middle.
the imitation apple? That sounds like a thing. Yeah.
Or
That sounds like
imitation
it could be
apple
something.
and coffee is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, people make shit out of coffee all the time and I understand why, but some apparently like it. Okay. I can see maybe you doing
I
coffee.
can see that. Yeah.
What was the third and middle one? Something else silly.
It was
I'll tell you them all.
Cola.
Mixed vegetable.
Cola.
Seasoned tomato.
The mixed vegetable and celery's on the other end. Yeah, we got
Right.
it.
Yeah.
2 vegetables on the ends, cola, apple, and
Yeah.
coffee in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. What? Which
So,
one is the?
Do you
middle
agree that
one?
cola, apple, and coffee sound like the most believable
Yes.
flavors that you might see?
I agree. I agree.
Now, I'm very torn about the the vegetable soup one, whatever that is.
Vegetables and
But celery, a dear friend of mine once said, celery don't taste like shit. Basically saying it has no flavor at all. Which I said, I mean, he's like, it's crunchy water basically is what celery is. And is
well, but it does have it actually has a very strong flavor that you kind of love or hate.
Yeah.
I mean, once it's in soup, it kind of gets a little, lost.
I mean, like, I think you could get people to buy the vegetable soup Jell-O just to see what the hell. But nobody's going to go, ooh, they made celery. No one's going to do that.
Is this Jell-O or pudding?
I realize there's an error in my research here.
Uh-oh.
They're all real. They're all real flavors.
No.
Damn it, Will.
Wait, what? Did you think you made one up and then it turns out it was real?
We've been April Fooled 23 days late.
I didn't mean to do that to you guys.
What did you mean to do?
I'll explain to you after the show.
Okay. So you're saying all of those at one point were
all of these are
Jell-O
real.
flavors.
Wow.
So
Celery?
It turns out, and I got this list from something called 11points.com. And a list they called the strangest discontinued Jell-O flavors. The first one, mixed vegetable and seasoned tomato Jell-O, is real. It turns out in the 1960s, it became a little bit of a trend to have Jell-O with vegetables in it as part of a salad.
Yes. Jell-O was included in salads and was the main ingredient in some salads.
What if it also had little SpaghettiOs in it, little letters and stuff?
Yeah,
suspended in the gelatinous form.
Yeah, that's what it looks like in the picture. Like there's vegetables suspended in the the gelatinous cube.
Corn.
Yeah,
peas.
Cola Jell-O is real as well. It turns out that there was in the South apparently folks were already mixing Jell-O, just regular old Jell-O with Coke. So Jell-O tried to capitalize on it by just making it a flavor.
I can buy that.
Imitation apple Jell-O, which sounds awful.
It's fruit.
But
that sounds like fruit backward instead of forward because of the imitation.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right. But it was introduced in the 1950s when we were still fruit backward. Yes,
that's
right.
No.
Yes,
there we go.
Imitation didn't turn people off. They thought of it as a cheaper substitute for something.
Right. Apples had to fight for the right to be cast in apple rolls beyond that.
Yes. Coffee Jell-O came out in 1918.
Whoa.
Figures.
Yeah. You got your
they didn't have no sense back then.
Celery Jell-O, which was another spinoff of that 60s trend with salads and Jell-O. Maple syrup Jell-O. Plain Jell-O.
Yay.
Which is useful in cooking, but otherwise
gelatin.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
that's just water suspended in cubes. Is all
Talk
that
about
is,
water
without the freezing. Yeah.
That's just texture with no flavor.
In the 1990s, we had apparently passion fruit and kiwi strawberry.
Oh, okay,
sounds good. Yeah,
there's the fruit coming forward.
All the tropical fruits. Yeah.
When you thought we were done with vegetable Jell-Os, Italian salad Jell-O.
What?
It was flavored after pasta and dressing.
Oh
my God, it's so nasty.
What do you put good seasons? A packet of good seasons in the mix.
Yeah, and some shaky Parmesan cheese, some dry Parmesan. Yeah, you're done.
Oh, I'd sooner make my Jell-O with hot dog water than I would eat one of those.
There was the dual bubble gum and cotton candy flavor, and finally lemon lime Jell-O, which actually turns out was discontinued. So there you go.
Lemon lime.
Wow. Karen says, my mom had a book of Jell-O recipes and some were weird. Brandon says, all Jell-O's gross unless it has vodka in it. Yeah. Some of those would be useful for drinks. That's a good point.
Right.
Celery.
He's effectively saying that Jell-O is just a delivery mechanism for vodka. On its own, it's of no value.
Yeah.
Wait, what's in a Bloody Mary? Maybe that's where the celery could come in handy. Does that involve vodka?
Don't they put in a Bloody Mary, just float some Jell-O cubes instead of the stalk of celery?
Celery?
No, use the plain Jell-O just so it gets really thick. You eat it with a spoon? Is that what you're saying? Karen says we made a salad we affectionately called green glop with lime Jell-O, pears, cream cheese, and Cool Whip. All right, that sounds delicious. That's fruity.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
And the name, so appetizing.
Green glop. Yes.
And finally,
It's like a medical condition.
Finally, what's become an entirely snack news.
Oh,
It's time for the summer season, so Dr. Pepper's announced a new limited time flavor. When I was a kid, I loved Dr. Pepper. You know, like we talked about, where fruit striped gum was my gum. There was a period of time where Dr. Pepper was my drink, my cola of choice. It was like having an adult beverage. I mean, you practically needed a prescription to get it, or it sounded like you did. Well, they've got a new flavor. It's Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut. That's...
I love coconut.
Not averse to
I
that.
think coconut. Yeah, I don't know how this would taste.
So how, as a fellow Dr. Pepperite, Will, how would you describe the flavor of Dr. Pepper? It's not easy to describe.
Yeah. Now, yes.
The regular, not the creamy coconut, right?
Well, John, I'm going to tell you, I've been incepted with something, a bit of information that you've probably heard as well, which I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
With the idea of something that turned out actually was been a rumor since the 1930s, that Dr. Pepper is made in part with prune juice.
Oh, really?
And ever since I heard that, and I heard that in the 1980s, because I remember telling everybody I knew, you'll never guess what's in it. Plums. Plums is the secret ingredient. And ever since then, I've always felt like it tastes a little bit like plum, doesn't it? So I don't know how else to account for the taste, because it tastes like nothing I've ever tasted before other than Dr. Pepper.
So I have a flavor that I have used to try to describe Dr. Pepper, which is also not accurate, but it has a similar feel, similar mouth feel.
Okay.
And I tell people it's like liquid black licorice.
I wrote that down just now.
Oh.
Because I knew you were
didn't.
going to say that. Yeah. Well, I didn't put the liquid part. I just wrote the black licorice part.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Proof.
Yeah. And so I like black licorice. I like black jelly beans.
Well,
I like Dr. Pepper. But some people like Dr. Pepper and yet hate those other two, though I think it's a similar taste.
I hate black licorice. I hate black jelly beans. You're right.
See?
That's interesting.
Weirdo.
That could
You
bring
like
us
Dr.
together.
Pepper. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder
But
if
as soon
there's
as you were saying you
fennel
had
juice in
something.
there.
Oh, see, I hate fennel. I hate fennel.
I've heard you say that before. But what if that's the secret ingredient?
Would you keep drinking it?
Yeah, I like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it's just pureed black licorice you find out? Oh my goodness. I had no idea.
Made from living black licorice. No, please, I have nothing more to give. Please let me go. I have a family. Then I probably would stop drinking it because of black licorice.
Three little beans at home.
Non-fruit forward thinking.
Yeah, no fruit there.
I don't know about this. I love coconut too, Kat. I don't know if I can imagine these two flavors together.
Well,
It seems kind of bizarre to me.
try it. I would try it. Although I don't generally drink soda.
Yeah,
but,
I don't drink
but I would
much
like to
either.
give it a taste. Yeah. I don't think I tried Dr. Pepper until I was maybe in my 20s. It just wasn't something that was around, purchased in my house. And it seemed like other people's drink.
Oh.
I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, don't hold your pinky out when you drink that.
Oh, no. No, I just mean we had Coke and 7-Up. We had the more
Chad says,
common ones around.
Cherry Dr. Pepper. and
Winthorpe,
cream
bring me
soda.
another Dr. Pepper. Post haste.
Chad says cherry Dr. Pepper and cream
butler's
soda
name is
Dr.
Winthorpe.
Pepper are the best. That sounds good.
Oh.
It'll be available May 1st through end of July. I suspect if it does well and people are fans, it'll stick around. But
Try it.
it's
Give it a shot.
described as the let's see, perfect original. I don't get this. Is this this can't be right? I'll just skip to this. It's described as having the flavor of layers of tropical coconut with a delicious creamy finish. It also has the distinction of being the only coconut cream flavored dark soda on the market. All right, wait, it's suspicious that they're throwing the word dark in there.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Does that mean there's a coconut flavored Sprite or something like that? Is that what we're?
I'm not sure.
Who cares? I don't
I know.
taste with my eyes, and it's making it was like Crystal Pepsi. It's like, oh, it's a soda, but it's clear. I'm like, who gives a shit what color it is?
Right, exactly.
Unless it's green glop flavored, like we colored.
That's
I mean,
fair.
once you take a sip, you're like, that's so orange, so red. It's so it's translucent, right? You don't care.
Well, but some people might. You might not, but some people might be choosing their drink by the color.
Okay.
Whatever.
I guess.
With regard to the ingredients of Dr. Pepper, because I alluded to the fact that I suspect, or I had heard the rumor that it had prune juice in it. And Brandon on in the chat says, doesn't it have a little circle in the logo saying it has 23 ingredients in it? Yes. I don't know what those are. And if you look at the actual can, it says, natural flavors is basically the only as closest you'll ever get. But with regard to the prune juice, even though we know the other ingredients, wait, let me back up a second. As for the formula for what these 23 ingredients may be, it's a trade secret. But allegedly, the recipe is kept in two halves in different vaults at two separate Dallas banks.
Wow. Okay.
But
you both have to turn your key at the same time.
We do
launching the nukes.
Yeah.
Insert your key, sir.
Then they failed at the first time, so they had to have a computer take over. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But so we don't know what any of the 23. Well, I shouldn't say this. We don't know specifically what the 23 ingredients are, except we know that none of them are prune juice, because on the Dr. Pepper website, the FAQ says that, quote, does not contain prune juice.
Oh my gosh.
This rumor, as I mentioned, though, has been around since the 1930s, and although folks don't know precisely how it started, some speculate that it was that it began to be spread by a delivery man for a competitor who was trying to cast aspersions based on prune juice's known, laxative effect.
Effects.
Yes.
I guess you can go with Dr. Pepper if you're okay with shitting your pants, during the PTA meeting later this evening. Is your husband home? Can I talk to the man of the house?
Why wait for Lester to be invented? You can
Right.
You can streak them up right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh no.
All right.
The 23 ingredients reminds me of one of the most clever Twitter accounts. Are you aware of KFC's Twitter account, or X?
Oh.
Yeah.
They only follow the 5 Spice Girls and 2 people named Herb. They only follow 7 herbs and spices.
That's
Oh my
awesome. I love
gosh.
that.
So they also, because they also don't disclose their secret 7 ingredients, right? Which
Right.
most people kind of know by now. But the point is, they continued the mythos into their Twitter
That's
account, which I
hilarious.
always thought was quite clever. Dr. Pepper could do that, and they could follow 23 people, and each name could be a hint to one of the ingredients, and we'd have to
Ooh.
figure it out. Would that be fun?
Yeah.
And they follow 24th that's got a name Prune in it, just to be like,
Prune.
maybe they lied.
Prune-tastic.
I don't know.
Right. William Licorice, they follow.
Well, I can tell you folks there, I tell you, Kat and John, and anybody who's still with us in the live and listening right now, this show was not made with prune juice. But that is it. It's done. It's made. It's done. It's baked. It's over.
And in fact, it was brought to you, not by the prune juice, but thank you in part to our
Prune juice.
early adopters. Not Cerveza Cristo? Oh, darn. Thank you in part to our early adopters, Karen Flieger and Rick Parker.
Yes.
John's going to be
Thanks,
rushing
guys.
off any moment.
And thank you especially to our fruit forward secret of our success level Patreon supporters, Brandon Greer, Marcus Taylor, Tony Great, Nick Guillory, Craig Coletta, Matt Marino, and John Henderson.
Yeah.
Thank you
They're
so very much, guys. We
Thank
love,
you,
we
guys.
adore you. We appreciate you for all that you do for our show to keep it going every week. If you'd like to join this fantastic bunch of humans who we, just worship the ground upon which there's no prune in any of them. They're all fruit forward,
All fruit forward.
not a single prune, and all those things. Please go to patreon.com/1980s now, or do something else. Whatever.
Do something
Hey,
else.
a reminder.
Very
I didn't sound like I was committed to it earlier, but May 4th, Saturday, join us. 8 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, YouTube, Star Wars Trivia. You can win $50 or maybe more, maybe $1 million, but not. But no.
And I'm going to make sure I can be there.
Yes. All right. Hey, we will be there and some other time. Hey, we will talk to you next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Franks and Beans.
Franks and Beans.
Franks and
So, yeah, I'm going to trouble you guys to record something, but after we say goodbye to everybody. But we could stop this one if it helps. It doesn't matter to me.
What do we do?
Whatever.
No, keep recording because it's going to be part of the same file. Actually, keep recording. We'll just
recording.
chat with everybody for a second or two. So, John, I'm look, folks. A lot of folks that listen to us are also listen to a Gen X Grown Up, and I know that I know honestly that you like being on our show. Obviously, this is your show as much as it's our show, so you like being a part of 1980s Now, and we love having you. But it's different. So when when clearly I'm having a mental breakdown, like earlier in the show, or now when I don't know exactly how we're going to sign off necessarily, how does that strike you compared to how, I want to say professional compared to our show? A Gen X Grown Up, I know behind the scenes and also clearly the product is.
Have you ever heard the bloopers at the end of their show?
I have, but I mean, that's the only time you get that. Our show is 80% blooper and 20% prune juice.
But that's the fun part, right? And Owl said he loves the shenanigans, the rigmarole, whatever.
Was there a question in there? Or
yes, I said, how does this experience jive? I suppose with how you run your ship on the other show.
Oh, you're asking me. Oh, I thought you were asking people.
No, I'm asking you.
You.
Oh.
So you come here, you don't know what's going to happen necessarily.
Right.
Is it off-putting?
No, of course not. This is palate cleansing. This is the one creative thing I do in my week that I do not have control over nor responsibility for.
And there's no control, really.
Anyone who watches anything else that I do on Gen X Grown Up, I have had to orchestrate every minute detail of it, and it's exhausting. I like it, but it's exhausting. And then I come here, and I think people that watch both probably think I'm a different person here because I behave quite differently because I'm not responsible for, like, I think about in the background, like, well, should I do that? We'll have to edit that. Will that be included in the edit, or should I make this reference? Other than that, thinking like an editor, even then, sometimes I go, yeah, his problem. Franks and Beans. It's not my problem. So I can just do whatever I find enjoyable. And it compares in that it's entirely different in a creative way and a creative outlet. So it's not more of the same. And I would argue that our shows, though both with 3 hosts, both about 80s nostalgia, are entirely different shows that do not replicate one another's content, nor are mutually exclusive.
Right.
Otherwise, one or the other would be redundant, and I don't think that's the case. So.
No.
Yeah, and even when we rare moments where we tend to do the same topic or similar topics, I would agree with you still.
No, it's a whole different experience.
I only ask because you know how this show is. And more so recently than look. I'll be honest with everybody in live, right? Because this isn't an audio podcast. But usually things are prepared weeks in advance on my show. It doesn't seem like it necessarily, but usually the news comes together at the end because we want to get what's current, and especially more so now than ever because we record so many days in advance. We used to, a couple of years ago, we recorded a little closer to airtime. But lately, with life and work, and in particular, and I'm trying to make sure I give time to finishing my book because I'm so close at this point to feeling like I could. Yeah. But I had always, for weeks, even the weeks and months that we were doing the book as topics for the podcast, I was still focusing a lot on making sure the podcast was good. Sure. Now I'm not saying I don't focus on making it good, but I don't prepare as far in advance. So it's even looser now than it's been, I guess is my point. And so even when I'm signing off and I'm not really sure how I'm going to sign off at, sometimes like this moment, I'm like, I wonder if this drives John crazy because I take this all back and then it all goes on the show anyway.
Well, first of all, this is Will's ship. Kat and I are giddy passengers on this ship. So nothing you do irritates me. It's just like, oh, that's, and maybe it did the first 2 times or 3 times. I'm like, oh, this is an open form. This is an amoeba, right? This isn't a ladder. It's going to get there however it gets there, and it's more organic. And it's a very different experience to be on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, also, you'll notice I avoided making fun of Kat. I'd said I might, but we really didn't spend a lot of time talking about Kat's absence. But I was going to say, I want to know exactly maybe when did Kat first start? Because at this point, maybe I've been on more episodes than her because as many absences as she's had.
3.
You know what, John? I'm going to do the math right now.
Do the math. I mean,
There are 3 episodes.
You guys are tied. Kat started about a year before you, John, but you guys are tied now.
That is so.
yeah, for all the absences.
So weird.
No.
Carrying 2. Hang on.
3 times. I can tell you exactly when they were and why.
Kat, you're right. You were on 19.77 more episodes. Oh wait, no, that was the money
That's
before.
wrong.
No, it says here you were on Black Licorice more episodes. Oh wait, that's a different note. Damn it.
I was on the Fruit Forward episodes, okay? 3 times.
Fruit Forward Bam Bam.
Fruit Forward. Will, you have a background and experience in improv. That's something that you enjoy. And I feel like what happens here is akin to that, is natural. Like that's a medium that you probably enjoy. And yeah, for John, I've always perceived that you've been like, hey, this is kind of fun and crazy. It's different from.
And my background is in news.
Yes.
Exactly, news. And in things being more,
much more structured. Check the rundown. We're a bit over. We're gonna have to drop this story. Kill that break.
Right. So it's just a chance to cut loose.
Yep.
Yeah, and I tend to think of our show as kind of a writer's room. As much as John jokes about put me in the writer's room, is that we know what the premise is, and then you guys are going to pitch ideas or pitch lines, and then when I edit, the best stuff stays in, and that becomes the script. And if I could write a script, that would have been the script I wrote and gave out.
Oh,
that's why I thought Kat wasn't on so many, because you have to cut all of her bad jokes. Now I get it. See, it was my misinterpretation. I thought she wasn't on more than she.
She actually was on last week, John. She was here last
you just
week.
cut everything she said.
Yeah, she was here. Yep, that's true. Watch.
Oh, my memory.
Remember
there we
this
go.
was like last week, yeah.
This is familiar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's weird. Hi, Kat.
Yes.
Stop touching me.
Did I
Stop
say
touching
I
me.
you guys? Did I say that?
That I had a text like that, but it just got removed somehow.
It just got deleted. Right.
Yeah, got
that
deleted.
message that says, message deleted by sender. It says right above it.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. And then she sent a thumbs up. I don't know what that was about. Dot.
I listened to the episode.
Right.
Brandon says if everything was by the book, then Cocaine Bear would not have happened.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
There was no book in that.
Okay, Brandon. Who said that? Brandon? I'm not looking at the chat. Who was it?
Brandon.
Yeah. Okay.
Brandon.
The next time you listen to Cocaine Bear, and you will listen to it again, as I have many times, you've got to listen to it. It may have been the first episode that I allowed myself to go off the rails, and Will is not having it for the majority of the show.
Huh. I'm trying to remember that. Oh, I remembered. Yeah, at the beginning.
There's a moment. There's a moment where Will is like, "Hey, this is not made up. I'm just gonna make sense. Hold on."
I didn't mean
I was straight up admonished.
Yeah, I didn't mean it to sound that way, but yeah, I know.
But the next time you hear
that.
it's like Will going, "Hey."
Yeah, I cringe when I hear that part, John.
It reminds me of the time that my grandmother said, "I'm going to go and visit your great aunt down in Fort Myers. You can bring a friend with you." And I brought my buddy DJ, who lived in the underground house across the street. And we're in Fort Myers driving down the main drag. My buddy DJ and I are in the back seat, giggling and poking each other and laughing. She spins around and goes, "Hey, keep it down back there. We're here to have fun."
I insist.
She never lived that down.
That's how I feel about this one. Yeah. You know what the thing about it is because I didn't mean it to sound the way it sounded.
Oh, I know. And you have mentioned to us
that
before
way.
that moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were going somewhere.
Yeah,
and we're not. We're in the moment.
I didn't.
We don't know where
guys,
you're going
because you were making a joke, dismissing it, but you were getting to where what was really going to happen. And I was like, well, you're getting ahead of the story. So
you're like, wait, this is important. This is important. This is all going to happen. I'm like, oh,
don't
sorry.
get ahead of it yet. But it sounded bad. Yeah.
But yes, post Cocaine Bear. When I found out what the edit was, I'm like, oh, I can do more of that now. I see it.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah.
When you found out what was left in. See, John, I'm used to being admonished by Will, like, for however many years it's been. So,
wow.
Look at him. I just want to point out, Brandon says Will got broken too about eating the parrot. That's one of my favorite parts when Will falls apart.
Hey, boo-boo.
John was like, what?
You'll do anything to get out of work.
Yeah, I said, help me pick up these bags. I can't. I'm busy eating this parrot.
I have to pause at "you'll do anything to get out of work" every time.
It kills me. It kills me every time. Every time.
It was at that moment that I knew Will was now on board. That's what it was. I relaxed because I'm like, oh, okay, we're all together again here. I'm no longer being in trouble.
That whole thing, man. I've told you guys, I've been in situations where I'm like, all right, I got to chill, I got to relax, and I put that episode on. I put to many episodes just to hear you guys, but hearing us laugh together, it makes me feel so at ease.
It's one of my favorite things.
And you're cracking up and you say, "You'll do anything to get out of work." Yeah. You're breaking as you go. You
had painted because John, you had painted this image that I hadn't considered that. Like eating the parrot looked like a guy, like he had made an excuse. You painted that for me, so I just articulated what I was seeing.
You can't unsee it once you see it, can you?
Yeah.
Oh. Choco Ball says Nick G.
Nick's here. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, we already thanked you. You missed it. If you're here to hear your name,
I have this. I feel like this '80s thing has a shelf life, right? We're getting older. It's harder to come by '80s stuff, Like, can we just do just a weird story every week?
Yes.
Yep.
Whatever you want to do.
I think we'll die before '80s nostalgia dies.
Well, yes, we'll take it with us. I think is what.
Yeah, right. The last one, as we go, we'll bring down the '80s flag and fold it neatly and put it on my casket because that'll be the end of it.
Oh my God.
Oh, Karen reminds us Cabbage Patch was fun.
Remind me to tell you something after we're done.
Oh. You thought I was going to be cremated, didn't you? Surprised you.
No.
Yeah, with your collection, your toy collection.
Burn me face down. The whole world
going to be a bonfire.
When his wife sets his house on fire and leaves.
Big old bonfire.
Alrighty.
I've got a match.
Alrighty, guys. I want to keep you guys busy for 5 minutes, so I'm going to let everybody else go. Say goodbye to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. We seriously appreciate you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. I love how you all have conversations with each other, too, in the chat. I love that. It's the best.
We have things in common. The love of cat. That's what we all
have. I do love you all. I do.
All right. Bye, everybody.